Right, so we're going to have a look at this Parkside soldering station. Um, Picked up recently from one of the sort of common supermarkets on my travels, and yeah, it was discounted. It was about, I think I paid about £12 for it. So don't quote me on any original prices. So what I was looking for anyway was a cheap sort of workhorse soldering iron. I've got a couple of nice Antex soldering irons, but they're much lower wattage. I think the main one's around 25. There's another one which is around about 30. This one says it's 48 watts. Apparently it is temperature adjustable between 100 and 500 degrees. The benefit of this is coming up in future projects. Some things like if you're soldering connectors on sort of heavy gauge cable, 8 AWG, even 12 AWG really. Yeah, it's better if you've got more wattage. If you're trying to do that with a 25 watt soldering iron, it's going to take a while to heat up. This, you apply a lot more heat, a lot quicker, and you actually protect the components that you're soldering, which seems a bit counterintuitive, but by having a hotter temperature and more power, the less time you spend heating up the solder and having the heat sort of penetrate and travel through the items you're working on. Yeah, if you can just get in, zip, melt the solder, connect the things together, then much better. So anyway, that's enough jibber jabber about why I've got this. You'll see me using this hopefully in upcoming videos. But yeah, let's open it up. So it's a soldering station PLS-48-D2 by Parkside. Seems to have a 3-year warranty. Like I said, 48 watts, 100 to 500 degrees. And yeah, that's pretty much all we can say. So let's open it up. Right. Okay, so there's our soldering iron. I think we'll test this out as well while we're on it. Seems to have quite a nice sort of rubberized grip. It feels quite heavy duty. We'll bring that over here so you can see the rubberized grip. All seems quite hard wearing. Yeah, so make sure you take this off as well. It's a little rubber nubbin that's covering up the pointed tip. And yeah, okay, so these tips are threaded as well. So if we look at this here, you can see you just unscrew it and it comes out. Right, so let's screw that back in. So we've got a springy doodad, which is for putting your soldering iron in. Little rubber nubbin that's come off the end there. And this is the main unit. Got a instruction manual as well. Make sure you read that, I suppose. Protector on the plug there. It's fitted with a 5 amp fuse, which sounds about right, which is good. Just undo this twisty cable thing. So yeah, cable seems a decent length. I think the cable on the actual soldering iron might be heat resistant, but don't quote me on that. It's got a different feel to it. So if I bring that up slightly, you can see in the light there, this is kind of matte and textured, a lot thicker. I don't think it's a gauge of the cable that's actually thicker. It'll be the insulation, and this is more like a standard consumer sort of insulation type. So got a little silver tray here. That will be for this sponge. So you'll want to stick a little bit of water on that, place that in there, and that's for wiping your tip on in between your soldering iron tip, mind, nothing else, in between soldering to keep the end clean. It looks like we've got a spare tip in there as well, so we've got a spade tip. I'll just bring that up to the camera as well. So yeah, just standard wedge tip, looks like a screwdriver head. Got a couple of gauges of solder here as well. Look quite heavy duty. Now let's see, what do they contain? Oh, okay, so it's not lead, it's tin solder. 99 parts tin, 1 part copper, so that's not too bad. Quite a general purpose solder there. Again, I'll bring that up to the camera so you can see. I would say, let's have a look. Does it have any size? Ah, it does. Well, I was about to say this one is looking roughly 1 mil, but it does actually say on the front there 1 mil, and this one's 1.5. So a couple of decent gauges there, and that's millimeters in the metric scale. God knows what that is in old money, but I'm sure you'll be able to figure that out by converting it online. So yeah, we've got twisty dial here which adjusts the temperature. Again, for something that was £12, I think, if I recall correctly, yeah, we don't have any LCD readout, and to be honest, it's probably just like a random number generator on a increasing scale. So yeah, this looks like it plugs in here. And actually, if we look at the design of this, so you see how this has got like a hook to it and one end's open. This end is actually a little bit sharp, but what that means, I'll bring it over here actually. So yeah, you can see that end does actually have like a little rough bit on the end just from the way it's cut off. But yeah, by the time you push that into this slot, I reckon that is going to dig in and anchor it into place. So let's find out. Right, so that's pushed in there. Yeah, there you go. So there's a little bit of thought being put into the design of it, essentially, for holding in place. A little power switch there. And then that slots into there like that. Now, do make sure you get all your cables out the way. Cable hygiene is a priority. If you're putting it onto a desk, obviously make sure the surface you're putting it on is heat resistant or not flammable. And that's so yeah, the way I would probably do this is if you've got a workbench, lead the cable away up to the back. Drop it down or up, or at least just have it out the way. Otherwise, bring it round to the opposing side to where this is, just to keep it out the way, because again, like I said, this is not heat resistant, it's just standard cable. And the last thing you want to be doing is allowing any heat from this to be compromising your insulation. Same goes for this really. Again, you want to try and keep that either over to this side or back and away. In all fairness, what I would be tempted to do is if you've got a cable tie, chuck a cable tie around here. So a nice big cable tie, just pin this cable to the side here so it's not going to go any further in the way there, and then you're operating from the side. Yeah, you're going to lose about, I don't know, 80 to 100 mil of cable, 8 to 10 centimeters, or yeah, what's that in inches? About 3.5, 4 inches. But Yeah, I don't see that mattering. It's going to be on the desk, and you're going to be working with it like that anyway. Right. So yeah, let's give it a test. Let's give it a test. And as if by magic, we have some extra things on the table now. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this on. I've set this to 3, straight bang down the middle. I highly doubt that 3 equates to 300 degrees. I mean, we technically do have 5 settings, and it does go up to 500 apparently, but we'll see. In fact, we might test that in a bit, because I do actually have a digital thermometer. But anyway, so yeah, I've got an A5 please do not bend cardboard envelope thingamajig. Quite like using these as soldering mats, in all fairness, because they absorb, like the back of these are quite porous, so they absorb any rogue flux. It's easy to dispose of afterwards, you know, as most modern solders are just rosin and tin, so you're not polluting the environment. Little bit of temporary adhesive, blue tack, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, what we're going to use as the test subject is well, a mains filtration board. Just random thing, you know, what you have laying about. But it's got some quite heavy pads on it. In all fairness, a 25 watt would, you know, still work on this. But yeah, the 48 watt here, it should make light work of them. Yeah, let's have a close look here. So you can see quite large solder pads. So gonna just stick it down onto here using the blue tack. I might pull a bit off of that actually and stick it in 2 places. It's handy if you don't have any helping hands on hand, so like a little clamp with the crocodile clips or a PCB jig. Quite often it's like a metal plate with magnets, or it's a plastic clamp with screws like a little vise. But yeah, if you're a student or just starting out, like say you've just picked this up from the supermarket and now you're like, oh dear, I need a soldering area. Again, make sure you've got a place which is, you know, the surface that nobody cares about. And yeah, just use one of these postal things. As long as you're not putting the soldering iron on it, it'll be good enough to stop anything else getting damaged. And you can use blue tack like this just to hold the board in place. So how we're doing on that? It's feeling pretty roasty toasty. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unsolder some of these first. I'm just using this rubbish cheapo de-soldering pump. It's got a spring inside. If you've not seen one, it's got a spring inside. You press this button here, this shoots up and it causes a vacuum and sucks the solder up while it's liquid. I'm using this because this has got a lot more power in it, and I really don't care about this one. I've got a couple other ones, but they've got nice Teflon tips and I prefer not to damage those. Also, given the fact that this was a budget thing, this sort of thing you can actually pick up in your local sort of thrift or pound shop, dollar store, I guess. You know, it's just one of those cheapo things. A nice bit of black paint on the back there. So that's smelling about done. So yeah, it's one thing you don't get on camera is smell. So getting yeah, some nice electronic-y smells. So we're gonna go for this top pad here, I reckon. So that is the earth pad. It's one of the larger pads out the lot. So yeah, let's just touch that on there. Yeah, okay, that is actually melting quite nice. What I'm going to do is, before I do this, we're going to zoom in so we've got a nice clean view of what's happening. And there we go. How do we like these apples? Right, so it's this one here, right bang in the middle. So we're just gonna heat it up from this top side here. Yeah, you can see that's just melted straight away. So now you've seen the whole lot move, and zim. And can you see how it's taken the mound off, and we've got a nice kind of exposed like, well, perf hole there. Yeah, try not to say innuendos actually. It's got a nice exposed hole. So yeah, this is what's just come out the end of the solder pump. So when it sort of pops back up, you can sort of press it down again. And when you press it down, it tends to got this little nubbin which pushes out the end, and it spits out whatever it's sucked up. So let's have a look. Actually, I think with one shot, that's done a nice clean job. You know what? Right, okay. I know I'm getting a little bit distracted here. Let's go for this at the back as well. Let's do these. So again, we're on setting 3. Oh well, yeah. Case in point, this cable's just fallen straight out. So yeah, that was a very nice, clean desoldering there. Right, that's there we go. That's melting that. Right, I'm not going to completely desolder it. I'm just going to take off one side because we'll use them as test points for resoldering. See how we get on with that. Right, okay, so that's turned out all right actually. There we go. So if you look at that, that's a nice clean desolder, no hassle whatsoever. That's fairly clean. So's the other one there, reasonable. I mean, they're not clean, but you won't always get clean, especially when you're first starting out. If you get the right temperature and take the right amount of time, you should be able to desolder all of that in one go. But don't worry if this does happen, because by the time you've desoldered everything you need, removed the component, what you will be able to do is either go in with some solder wick and soak that up, or just reheat the pad quickly and then use your soldering pump to just suck off the excess there. So yeah, that's no problem. So stick that back on there. Let's solder this back into place. So put that there, bit of blue tack, hold it in place. Doesn't matter how it goes together really. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to use the 1mm solder out of the actual kit. We'll see how that goes. So just actually don't need to do that. I'll just bring this into shot. So you should really tin the tip first. So all I'm doing is putting a little bit of solder onto the end, and then you wipe it off in your pad. Now I prefer the sort of brass, sort of Brillo pad type things, but make sure you've got some water on your sponge or you'll end up burning it. And if we just okay, heat up the area. Right, okay, I'm not liking this, so what I am going to do is I'm going to get my Antex cleaner. Right, okay, we are back, and we have the cleaner from the Antex. So just give it a few stabs in there, brush it off. Probably would be a good idea to get this, and look, instantly you're revealing the tinned edge. I mean, in all fairness, the sponge pad might have worked had I put water on it, but yeah, in my experience, and it's just never that great, really. But you know, work with what you got. Doesn't cost much to get one of the Brillo pad things. Right, so now we've got a open tinned face. There we go. A bit of solder on there. That's going a lot better. And there we go. Just wipe that off, put that in, and we can see we've got a nice clean solder joint from that. And yeah, that does actually seem reasonable. But for test purposes, let's bring in some other solder, which is my general purpose solder. So got this here. It is on a Maplin spool, although I've reused the spool and it's got some other solder on it, but it is let's have a think. So this spool originally was 4% silver, 95.5% tin, and 5% copper, or 0.5% copper, sorry. But I actually think this is, I think it might actually be 5% silver, I'm not sure. I did end up getting some, because usually what I'm working on is audio circuits, so yeah, it's nice to have some decent quality. You can see this is just a dream to work with, this stuff. Goes on nice, you get a nice film on the tip, and instantly, yes, feels so smooth, like Silka. Getting too distracted with the memes to solder properly now. There we go. Hey. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so by using some of your own solder, getting one of the brass tip cleaning pads, and yeah, you're getting some good results, and that's at halfway through the setting. Will be interesting to test this out on something a little bit beefier. So I'm going to get something from a project which will be coming up. Just a short project, but so, and ta-da! Okay, so this is a battery pack from one of the early combat robots. Well, actually, I say early. Technically, this is from the second combat robot I built. The first one was Serious Business. That's the one that went into combat robotic battles and whatnot. But yeah, this one was actually the second one, and it was a less serious robot. It was just a sort of bash about in the sort of backyard and street fights kind of thing. So anyway, let's open this up, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this ready to use in another project. So these are like the connectors and stuff are a little bit more heavy duty. We've still got the soldering iron here on 300 allegedly, setting 3, and yeah, we're gonna open this up. We're gonna have a look. Now, I would advise if you're working on battery packs, don't use a scalpel, especially if it's lithium. This is not. This is NiCad. Yeah, you could get away with just a pair of paper scissors in all honesty, but I doubt you'll be taking shrink wrap off of custom-made NiCad robot battery packs. So, yeah, this is working good enough anyway. There's similar cells to what you get in drills, actually. Like electric cordless drill battery packs. Ah yes, like a maniac, I'm slicing into the top, but like a ninja, I'm using much precision. Yeah, I'm not using too much pressure there, just enough to score it to open it up. Let's put that over there. Yeah, this thing really was just slapped together, but in all fairness, if you've ever opened up a drill battery pack, you're not going to see anything better quality than this, in all fairness. So if this is the first time you're seeing something like this and going, oh, that's a bit weird, yeah, just hang fire until you have a look inside a drill battery pack, because honestly, they come out the factories just slapped together and you'd be surprised. Even like the expensive brands aren't much better. But also with NiCad, you don't need a lot of safety, and additionally, this was used in combat robotics to some extent. So it does have to meet some kind of standards, which it does, which is good. Certain standards on insulation and stuff like that. Basically, if you take it along to any official events, they don't want the magic smoke coming out anytime before it should. Safety, safety, safety. Yeah, there are actually some nice quality NiCad cells. I don't particularly like NiCad really, given that lipo lithium polymer and lithium ion. They both have so much more power to weight ratio, but yeah, these ones are actually quite nice little workhorses. Deliver a decent punch. Just cutting through some hot glue here that's been used. I mean, in all fairness, you could probably use that soldering iron to melt it off, but it'll end up jeffing up the end of the bit, so we won't do that at the moment. So yeah, you can see here you got the positive and negative rails there. Now, yeah, what we're going to do, yeah, let's just desolder this one. Let's desolder the earth, the negative. Just cutting through the shrink wrap at the moment. Bet you didn't expect to be seeing all this, you know. Hey, let's see what that soldering iron's like. Hey, suddenly we're dismantling a a robot battery. Okay. Right. Okay, so that's off now, and we're just gonna heat up this nice shiny bead of solder here. Okay, so heat this up. Yeah, still got a film of tinning on there. Oh yeah, that works a treat. There you go, look at that, straight off. Job's a Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, nice. Well, I think that pretty much sums this up. So if you are working on RC battery packs, or you're using it for combat robotics, or any hobbies, in all fairness, yeah, for 12 quid, that seems like an alright little iron. Like I said before, just make sure that you get one of these, well, not this bit, but the shiny Brillo pad bit. You can get them in little tins, or like a little holder, and yeah, you just clean the tip, you just basically jab it in and wipe it against it kind of thing, and takes off the oxidization. But yeah, apart from that, there's not really much more to say. Get one of those, get some decent quality solder, and the stuff that comes with it's good enough. I mean, it'll do the job. It's not bad solder, so you get quite a bit of it as well, so it'll at least do you for some practicing. You can always get some flux if need be.
But the evil sponge must die.
So get any comments in below, and we will see you later on.